All right, we're back.
No, hey, what up, guys?
Okay, fine. Hey, how's it going? It's Phoenix Master 5, or Sean Phoenix, Phoenix Master 5, PSN, DN, Gamertag, and other various social medias. Joining with me is Finrot Games and Alex.
Hey.
Yeah. We are continuing the discussion on Opus II, where we just finished talking about Fire in the other video, so if you want to watch Fire or listen to Fire, then go over there. We had a long fucking discussion about it. I think it lasted like 50 minutes.
Something like that. We went through every single card.
Somebody should put a timer on. Every time we get done talking about a card, hit it, and we only talk about it for a minute or two.
I don't know.
Like a chess timer. I think we just need to be more self-aware.
Yeah.
We'll see.
25 cards, and it took us 50
Fire?
minutes to do it. So we talked about 2 minutes per
The
card.
thing is, Fire is his wheelhouse, so he had a lot to say. This is my wheelhouse. Ice is my home.
So we'll try to condense the conversation a bit to more concise things, arguments, points. Hopefully that works out.
We'll see.
Yeah.
So, starting off in ice.
Starting off in ice, I believe this is the first legendary for the element. No, it's a heroic. The next one's a legendary. This one is Weiss, 6-drop forward, 8k power. When Weiss enters the field, you may play an ice forward.
It's Vaughn.
Of 3 or less from your hand onto the field. Yeah, this is the heroic Vaughn effect. When Weiss attacks, Weiss gains 2k power until the end of the turn. It's a little more selfish than Vaughn, though.
Yeah.
10k on attack.
Yeah, it doesn't offer any utility aside from being a beater, is what I was getting at. It's a 6-drop that's a 10k beater on attack.
I'm okay with it, personally, for my point of view. One, because she puts her buddy into play. Mm-hmm. Which I'm saying her because I think Ruby when I think Weiss.
So assume his gender? Alright, that's done.
But AK for 6 means I can turn 1 it in Ice Wind. I can turn 1 it and drop an extra body, just like I can do Vaughn.
Yeah.
Which puts people on a massive clock where you have to come out of the gate swinging versus me.
Right.
And she's more dangerous than Vaughn is.
Definitely. That was my biggest complaint about Vaughn, was that he just
felt kind of,
he felt really useless for a 5k. Like, yeah, you get usually it's a day and out, but like
that and Yuffie 3 are like.
Wouldn't I just rather just like play a different card and then just play Zidane on turn 1 by himself? You know, like.
We could talk about that in another one.
Yeah. 4.
I like this a lot.
Calling a 4.
I like it. I think it's a good aggro play.
I think it's a great, like, just drop it turn 1 and fucking go.
Yeah.
I'd give it a 4 for sure.
I'd give it a 3. I feel like they're just better things that you could be doing as a curve topper. I don't know. Not like I can't think of anything off the top of my head right now, but just I feel like they're just
in ice. I don't know.
Better things that you could be doing in ice. But that's just my opinion. I think it also depends on what you're comboing the play with. What are you bringing out with Weiss? Are you utilizing that that ability to its fullest? So
she puts Squall into play.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just call
if
that.
If it puts Squall into play, then sure, yeah.
And it says 3 or less, so it could be like any of those. Like,
Squall, Snow.
Yeah, there's so many great
worse
ice.
Snow.
Yeah,
you know.
Sure, okay.
Yellow Snow.
That's what you're doing.
Terra 3-drop, which would be insane control play.
Ooh.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's so many great ice forwards.
So, yeah, like I said, if it's utilized correctly, I would probably give it a 4 if it's utilized correctly.
It's easy to utilize correctly. I'd say it's straight up 4. I think it's great.
Alright, moving on, we got Vayne, which is the first legendary of this element. A 4-drop forward, 8k body. Your opponent's forwards of cost 5 or more do not activate during their opponent's active phase. When Vayne enters the field, dull all forwards of cost 5 or more opponent controls. There's a special ability. Special 2 ice, freeze all forwards your opponent controls.
Wait, it just says freeze all?
Yeah.
All.
It's a better Ultimacia in
freeze
that side?
all.
Yeah.
In that sense, yeah. So,
Jesus.
I think It's a 1 of. Or 2 of, because of the special ability. The only reason why I say that is it's specifically targeting cost 5 or more. And that's not going to be the majority of a lot of people's decks.
Yes.
If your meta sees Emperors, sees Sephiroth, the 8-drop, or, any of those big bodies, Vayne is going to shine.
Yeah.
But if your meta's speed, Vayne goes in the book.
Yeah. Vayne does not have a place for against aggro decks of any kind. Let's put it this way. It'd be funny to play against a Golbez deck. Like, just Golbez just doesn't happen unless, Delita forces it to happen.
I'm sorry, but in mine it does.
Yeah.
I don't think it's good against Golbez. At least not the backup lists.
Yeah. I guess I retract what I...
Yeah.
But,
however, this thing is great against any kind of earth. Like, if you're having troubles with Prish, you play this.
It stops curve toppers.
Yeah.
In general, but most decks run only like
Emperor, Tifa.
One cop will run like 3 to 5 cards in their deck. Not all, but some will run mostly that.
It's a popular thing to do.
As the 5 drops are higher.
Emperor, Tifa.
It's not
Weiss.
It's not popular to do less, to do more of those high cost cards.
Kuja.
So that's why I'd only justify running it as a 2 of, because you want to get that effect, special off, but who knows if you even want it out on the field ever,
If we get a sideboard, it's a 3 of an ice. Anything that plays ice is playing 3 in the side.
Yeah, this is one of those cards where you would 100% run it in a side deck.
So why are there no sideboards?
If only.
Tournament organizers.
Yeah, because of...
Listen.
Holla.
Because of its utility. Or its lack thereof, depending. I would give it a solid 3. Yeah, probably a hard 3.
3. If we get sideboards, 4.
Yeah.
We're not going to.
Yeah.
Not yet. Well, so far it's confirmed no sideboards. It's a meta call. If you know that your meta runs a ton of 5 drops or higher, then it's a 4. But if it's not, then it's a 3.
If White Cloud was 5, this would be an auto.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Just calling that out right now.
Let's move on from this. I think we've kind of talked about it enough. We got Scholar as a 2-drop ice backup. 1 ice and dull. Scholar to choose a dull 4 and deal 2k.
I'm just going to flat say 1 and just move on.
Yeah, immediately.
Yes, this thing is not good. And this is coming from somebody who just loves ice. This thing is not... I'd rather Terra 4.
I see the potential in it with an Ice Fire deck. I see the potential in it. With an Ice Fire deck specifically, though, because its cheap cost to burn for 2k is alright. You pair it with that Fire Summoner, it burns for 3k, which can kill still a decent number of things. A very, very small number of things. But you pair it up with a secondary type of burn. And,
I think the whole dull forward is what kills it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 1 as well.
I don't know. I give it a 2. I give it a 2 because I'm hopeful for it. I can see what it does.
Too much restrictions for a not very great effect.
Yeah.
Before we go to the next card, I feel really dumb about the name because I just realized something about it.
What?
Semblance of a Lion.
Simba, Lance, Lion. Is that what you're going for there?
No. Stop and think about who has the
Well.
better version of this effect and what is his emblem, effectively.
Yeah, that's the point.
Right, but I just realized it.
Oh, all right. Well, we're gonna look at Bad Squall here. Bad Squall is a semblance of a lion. He's a 2-drop forward. He's a mannequin. He's a 5k body. When Bad Squall blocks or is blocked, choose 1 forward and deal 2k damage. So Bad Squall is bad, unless he's paired with a mannequin deck. In which case, we could talk about the mannequin deck later, though. There's a lot of potential for it.
Mannequin video.
Please send me 3 foils of this because I want to make SpongeBob's Doodle Bob as a squall.
It really is the Doodle Bob of Squall. Most of these mannequins are.
Yeah.
There's only one mannequin that's just better than its original.
And that's the next one.
No, not the next one. The next one is the Sephiroth.
No, the next one's the Kuja.
No, next one. Read the next one. The next one is the Sephiroth.
Oh,
You're thinking
champion.
of Capricious Rebirth.
Yeah.
That's okay. Symbolism lion.
So
rating.
So Bad Squall. What do we
Yeah.
rate Bad Squall?
3. It's good for budget.
I give yeah. You can't afford that legendary Squall. Here's Bad Squall.
Yeah, I can't think of budgets though, because I think just as a card, it's not very good. I'd give it like a 2.
I give it a 2.5. I'll meet it in the middle. Moving on, we have Imaginary Champion. We have Bad Sephiroth. A 3-drop forward mannequin, 7k body. So when Imaginary Champion enters the field, each player discards a card. This is Bad Sephiroth.
I don't like him either.
I don't like him either. I don't like him because he's a 3-drop
For
with
7k.
for 3-drop.
Hurts
7k is
you.
average, but just each player discards one.
But
who cares?
Yeah.
See,
That's what I'm saying. Is like he doesn't do anything other than he's like a 3-drop.
the
7K,
only
and that's-
2 cards that I've liked as discard is the 2-cost one in Ice. It's just 2. They discard one. It's a 3k body, but that's just because it's ditch 1. Go ahead, pay. You're mashing me. The other one is 4-drop Squall.
4-drop Squall is justifiable because if you pair it with
Devout.
Laguna, or Devout or Laguna, then your opponent discards 2. But what?
I got you on that.
But just each player discarding 1, whatever. Like I don't see the utility in it.
in before this card is amazing and
What?
everyone proves you wrong.
Yeah. Watch. Maybe in a discard deck, cool. But I don't
like that.
I don't like it.
Reanimate. I could see it in Reanimator.
I don't like it personally. So I give it a hard 2.
I'll agree that if
That's
not
a 2.
under 2.
Yeah, I'm going 1.5.
Moving on, we have Edward. He's a 4-drop backup. 2 ice and dull Edward. Choose a forward and dull it. I don't like that he's a 4-drop.
Yeah.
1 bye.
I wouldn't give it a 1, but I just don't like that it's a 4. If it was
too expensive.
If it was a 3-drop, or if even the cost of it, if it was still a 4-drop but its cost was reduced to 1 ice and dull, maybe. But I can't. It seems expensive
Yeah.
to do what it's supposed to do. I give it a 2 again, just because of the cost. One way or another, it's expensive.
Yeah, I'll go with 2.
I stand by 1 because if I want to doll you out, there's better options.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Maybe I'd go like 1.5. Ugh. He's very unimpressive.
Yeah. Maybe this other Edward's better. We have
I agree.
the
He
forward,
is.
forward Edward 2-drop, 5k. All forwards lose haste. All forwards cannot gain haste.
There goes normal. There goes the
There goes the haste
standard
plays.
unit.
Yeah, there
the
goes
orphan.
there goes any chance for haste plays. I think it's a good card. I think it reduces the game to a very basic game state.
Isis cyborg the deck.
I could see this being played in Gilgamesh. It's a 2-cost forward.
I mean Golbez.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Well, listen.
You play the
listen.
deck.
I play Gilgamesh. Dot deck. And it has Golbez
It just
in
happens to have gold in it.
But I mean, yeah, like you can it just makes it easier to just swing out with your guys. You don't have to worry about any kind of swing back.
I will gladly play this turn 1 versus fire.
I would definitely play it over the other Edward. So
For certain, yeah.
I give this Edward a solid 3.5, maybe
I give it just a flat 3.
flat 3.
I'm
Because-
almost tempted to say 4.
I wouldn't say
want
it's
to try it out in Golbez.
I don't say it's a must run. I say it's a very good way to keep your opponent in check. But if that's what you want your deck to do,
Yeah, I mean, if there were sideboards, he'd be in your ice sideboard every time.
exactly.
Every time.
sideboard card, of course.
I'll
but-
go with a 3.
Moving on. Backup Bard, 2-drop. When Bard enters the field, dull all the backups opponent controls. I think it's pretty good for a 2-drop.
Yeah, it's really good considering when you're going up against going in a mirror match versus Time Mage.
It-
If they're playing Mill with Riku,
it pairs up
against Aerith.
It pairs
Aerith.
It pairs up really well with the squall that we'll talk about a little bit later, which is just saying if you want to do stuff, do it now because you're not going to be able to later on.
And then if they do that stuff, then you just don't do what you were going to do and hold off. You know?
Yeah, either that or it'll be like they won't be able to do what they really wanted because it'll be mistimed or whatever. It puts them in a really crappy spot.
Oh, yeah.
So
this is just let me cover my ass before I decide to do anything.
I feel like it's kind of a must run. I mean, I would run it as a 2-of if in Ice Lightning or whatever. I think it puts your opponent on their back foot in a bad way. Just, I don't know. I would give it a solid, probably a 4. 4 seems generous, but I
3.5.
Yeah.
Because there's plenty of backups that actually do stuff now, and especially with Opus 2, there will be plenty of backups that do stuff. But it's another meta call.
Yeah, definitely. Against the more control-based or attrition-based decks that will have more backups, then its utility obviously goes up.
Right.
Against wind, I could see this taking a shit, and winds is all over the place.
Yeah,
Hey,
definitely.
Aerith.
Yeah.
No.
It forces the Planet Protector to happen or not happen. So, yeah. Moving on. Black Mage, 3-drop backup. Put Black Mage into the break zone. That's its only cost. No forward of cost 3 or less can attack this turn. It's the opposite Fire. It's the opposite Zell, opposite Tifa special.
Mm-hmm.
It's strictly defensive. I think it's cool that it's strictly defensive. I think it's cool that Ice is taking that identity of being a little more on the defensive side or passive side.
Makes sense, yeah. And I don't know.
I would probably run it as a 1-of.
It just
2-of.
seems like maybe it stalls you enough to get back on your feet.
It's an early game play if your grip is shit. Let's kind of say that, I guess.
Low cost rush has nothing on it. That card just says no to.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it buys you 1 turn. Let's be real. It buys you
3 turns. Let's be real.
How does it buy
3
you 3
turns?
turns?
Because there's 3 of them in the deck. If you're
Okay,
playing
so if you run, if you ran 3 and then you play all
But
3,
you're wasting your time just going. You still can't do anything, and then it's like a red light, green light. Green light.
I think you can use it as a 2-of. You could drop it down as soon as you see it, and then just try to time it at the right spot, like when you need the most. You're hopefully not gonna play red light, green light the whole time with it. But if it definitely carries out into the mid to late game, you could probably just drop it for free. Technically for free if you have 3 backups, you can just drop it and then you break it and it turns off their battle phase effectively. If they have small stuff, I guess let's readjust here. If they have 4 drops or higher, then this card does nothing. So
that's how I feel about Alexander 90% of the time.
Alexander's usefulness goes up with this next set.
Well, I mean, right now.
Yeah. That's like saying if you're playing with Lightning and your opponent just for some reason runs 5 drop forwards and up and that's all they run, then Odin's dead. It's
this card would be pretty darn good if it said cost 4.
Yeah.
It'd be busted.
The card would
if it
be
said cost 4.
I think the card would have to cost 4 or more to be justifiable to stop 4 drops or high or lower. Numbers wise
now.
Rating wise,
2.5,
3.
Yeah, 3. 3 seems to be a good number. This next one here is fun to pronounce. Zargabath, maybe? Zargabath.
Sure.
3 drop forward. 5k body. When it enters the field, you may play a forward of any element except ice. Costs 3 or less from your hand onto the field. So, it encourages the multicolor game.
Now, the thing is if you look at every other version of him, Weiss, the next one, Shelky, and all of them, they always put in ones that are under them.
Yeah.
He puts in same cost or less.
Yeah. Which is kind of nice, but it has to be another color. So you have to make sure that you can pair it up correctly in a multicolor deck, which that also shouldn't be difficult, but I'm just saying. You need to make sure you do it right. You know, a lot of the ones that do same elements are like that because it's the same element, you know. I think that's the justification of it anyways. I think the fact that this forces you to pick another element is its own way of
restricting you a little bit,
Yeah, so I mean,
See, I don't see it as a restriction. I think it's a great
No,
thing.
yeah, but I think like that's what they were going for. It's still.
And let me draw 2 cards. Let it be him and anything else that's not an element. Oh, I don't have the element. Still playing it.
Yeah, no, I think this guy's really good. I think he's maybe better than the other guys that say put in another man.
Here's what I don't like. I don't like that he's a 5k body, and I don't like that he doesn't do anything else after that.
Yeah, that is kind of a hindrance. But I mean, you're putting in 6 worth for 3.
You have a 3k.
As long as you're getting another like good 3k with him, I think it's fine.
I actually think he'd be amazing as a 3/5 if he put any character of 3 or less.
Yeah.
If he was able to drop an Aerith into play.
Oh, Jesus.
But since this is not here or there, it puts something down of the other element, same cost or less. It's a 5k body by itself, so you gotta have something that's kind of better than that. What would you put it down as?
3.5.
Yeah.
I give it a 3. I don't like that it's just such a low body. Like, it doesn't do anything after that. I know. I feel like a lot of these things do things even after that, which is another kind of drawback.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see.
Ice is a very fine line to walk, though.
Yeah.
I think because it's ice, you have ways of making a 5k do things.
Making you talk.
I think this is... No, it's not. Shulk is next. Shulk is a 3-drop forward with
5k.
5k.
Also.
Puts another guy into play.
Yeah. Any element except device of 2 or less onto the field. And then if you do so, your opponent discards a card. Which, I guess that's the trade-off.
I mean, like, it makes your opponent discard a card.
Like, instead of having cost 3 or less, it's 2 or less, but they have
in my opinion, with playing ice like I have, here's the good thing about her is things like Sid Rains, the 2-cost discarder that I was talking about earlier. Those kind of things are what's going to make her shine.
Yeah.
But you have to build to that.
I think ice discard her is going to be really good. Be able to do tricky things where you're getting like more value. Like you're making them discard. Like the Sid Rains, he makes them discard a card, right?
Deals if the guy dies.
If you can kill them, yeah. Yeah.
I think there's definitely ways to make that a very cool card.
I think her utility is useful. It just needs to be used correctly.
Her utility is only in her form in it though. Oh, never mind. I made a mistake.
There's a backup that supports her too, which is right under her.
Scratch everything I said.
So do you want me to pair the backup with her and we can have kind of a verdict on the combination, or do you want to just like as a standalone card?
It's standalone because it's only a pump and then it's a.
It makes it so it's not just a 5k, is what I'm saying. You know,
7k that you can make not be able to die.
Just
go ahead and read Shalua.
Sure, it's a 2-drop backup. And she says Shulk gains 2k power, and then you can dull Shalua and put it into the break zone, and the next damage to Shulk becomes 0. So it's like a Gordon effect.
Sort of. It's a one-time Gordon where you have to sacrifice the Shalua to save a Shulk.
Okay,
that's all it's for is to save Shulk.
So never mind, I don't like it very much.
You sacrifice Shalua to save Shulk. It on its own, it doesn't do anything except make Shulk a little bit better, and I think Shulk is fine on its own.
Well, Shulk it just needs to be paired correctly.
I don't think you want to run the Shalua with the Shulk, honestly. Like, it's... I don't know.
I made a mistake on what I was talking about, the tossing of with like Sid Reigns, it can't work.
Let's put it this way: if there was another Shulk, a better Shulk than Chalua, we'll see play. For the sake of keeping it alive, But aside from that, I don't. Shulk,
what it does is too narrow to be.
I give this Shulk a 3.5 because I see the potential. It's just picky. And then I give the Chalua a 2 for now, unless another better Shulk comes out later down the road.
Yeah.
3.5 for the Shulk. I'm going to go 1.5 for the Chalua.
Even lower?
Yeah, because you're not going to play it right now.
Moving on, we have some fodder for the starter deck Jill. We have 2-drop Jill, backup.
So good.
Backups don't deal damage to the forwards you control. That's really nice, and it kind of hard counters Tell-Off from the fire set.
Yeah.
Also counters Fire Black Mage.
Yeah, Fire Black Mage, Fire Magus.
Lightning Magus.
Discussing this further.
Lulu's.
Yeah.
What's the Earth guy from the 7 starter?
Oh, God.
Biggs? Is it Biggs I'm thinking of? When one of your backups
die, deals a 1k or 2k or something. Negligible damage.
Yeah.
But even still, this Jill stops it.
This Jill's pretty okay. I don't know if she's better than the other Jill.
I would do 3 of the starter Jill and then 1 or 2 of this Jill.
Yeah, definitely.
Just
1.
Yeah, just
because
you can have it. You can still have it to if you know you're playing fire or lightning, have it as a counterplay. Mm-hmm. But you can, in any other situation, it's just fodder for the
definitely
special.
Well, like I was telling you, in Ice Wind, you can play her because if your opponent's playing backup heavy, you're like, oh, play Jill.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, well, you're not doing backups. Von it back to hand?
Mm-hmm.
I will say this, while it may not make sense to some listeners, even though this is a run 1 of, I would still give it like a 4 because it still offers a lot of utility. There's still a lot of counter utility, a lot of stuff.
I think in specific decks you might want to run
more
it over than the other one. Maybe.
Yeah. If maybe your build is much more protective, I guess, then I see
like the aggressive deck instead of the defensive deck.
It's a card that has a lot of flexibility.
It's not run one or the other. It's run which one are you going to run
more than the other.
And the other one you're going to run less
You
of.
will be running both. One will be a 3 and the other will be like a 1 or 2.
Exactly.
I can agree with the 4. It seems really, really strong.
4. Sven, do you want to
talk about Squall?
No, did you give it a number?
Yeah, I said.
Oh, you also
said 4 with you. And...
Yeah, okay. Moving on. This Squall is fantastic, in my opinion. It is a 5-drop. It's a forward with 6k power, so that's kind of wonky and unfortunate, but it has first strike, and for each dull character your opponent controls, Squall gains 1000 power, so it's never going to be 6k. Let's be honest here.
No.
Ultimacia has a boyfriend.
Don't forget the next part. Funny. The next part is very important.
Yeah, when Squall attacks, dull all the backups your opponent controls. So that's what that bard does.
And he says characters give him plus 1000.
Yeah, characters. Backups included. So, this
late game, you swing?
Oh my god.
He's going to be an 11.
Late game, yeah.
Minimum.
Like, if they're playing a backup deck, like, that has backups, and it's late game, you drop him, you swing, he's 11 first strike.
With first strike, and your opponent will have a tapped out board. That's good. That's really good.
This guy's insane.
Ultimacia has a boyfriend. That is the exact way to explain it.
You pair this Squall up with the 3-drop Squall. I would do 3 and 3 if it were up to me. Because you have one for every occasion. You have this 3-drop Squall for your early to mid game. Stops everything. Then when you get to the mid to late game, you can drop this 5-drop Squall. And I just have this wall.
Don't forget about Vayne.
Yeah.
You drop a Vayne with the Squall. Like, you play the Squall. Next turn, you play the Vayne. Any blockers that they had are now tapped. Anything that maybe could stay and block it is not going to live to an 11, now, 13, whatever K, freaking first striker.
I'll go off of what Finn's saying. When you pair this card up, this 5-drop Squall up, with an Ultimacia control deck,
Jeez.
It's like night and day. You got so much advantage, so much power. It's ridiculous. I give this. I don't know. Does
I
this
give him a 5.
Does it?
I think so. I think
This
even
is
just
the
in a
ice 5.
vacuum, if they have any amount of backups, he's a first striker. 7,
Yeah,
8, 9, 10, 11.
I gotta give. I give it a 5.
This is the
also.
ice 5.
Yeah.
For sure. Like, you're going to be playing them in ice.
This is also, I think, what is this?
He
the
goes
first
so
5
well with what
weekend?
ice does, which is making things be dull.
And rewarding yourself for doing what your deck is supposed
Yeah,
to do.
it goes along with the game plan, and it's so rewarding.
Awesome. I give it a 5 also.
It also awards you for your opponent swinging.
Absolutely.
Also, this is the fourth
God, if you could like give him haste too, just
Yeah.
like
Ice fire.
Ice Fire.
yeah, exactly. It brings you back from the brink. If your opponent just swung out against you, you draw this guy and give him haste. You're
Turns
now
the
like
table
you're
entirely.
back in it. You can give him oh jeez.
Ice
See so many great things. Yeah.
Yeah, just pretty much pair this thing with any other complement from any other element, and you have advantage. This is the fourth 5-drop or higher forward we've seen. And this and the Tifa, I believe, are the 2 best so far that we've seen. Moving on, we have 4-drop Capricious Reaper. This is quote-unquote bad Kuja, but this is actually better Kuja.
Yeah.
It's a mannequin with 8k body. When Capricious Reaper is chosen by your opponent some of his abilities, your opponent discards 1 card from his or her hand. So this is exactly what 5-drop Kuja does, except it's a 4-drop, and it has 8k power instead of 9k, but that's marginally not bad at all.
That you don't care about that.
So this is just better Kuja.
Yeah.
It's a common.
And that's funny. That's really funny. That's a comment, too.
This guy might be another 5.
No,
No.
it's not a 5.
Almost.
It's 4.5.
Almost.
I give
Listen.
it
5 in mannequins. 4.5 in anything
Yeah,
else.
that's true.
5 in mannequins
I
for sure.
Because
I give it a
This
4.
guy's gonna be insane.
I go to 4 and everything else. I think it depends on what deck you're running. Because,
4?
like, sometimes, because of the 8k body, in some cases, who cares when you run something that might be trade distance or
Maria,
bigger.
Duke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in some cases, it might not. It may or may not matter. So I'll give it a 4.
Just looking in element. The reason why it's a 4.5 for me is because it can come back off a devout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine. Moving on. Time Mage. 2-drop backup. Dull it. Choose 1 forward. Loses haste and first strike to any other turn. So
Relevant.
This effectively turns off Belius the Gigas.
Yeah.
So,
But not really because it still draws you a card.
It
Yeah,
cuts off
and it
mirror
gets you
match
+1.
squall.
Yeah.
but yeah, it
Yes.
it has a lot of utility. I like it. I like it more than the Opus 1 Time Mage, just slightly.
Just
Cuts off Terra 3.
It cuts off.
It does a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah, if they want battle trick a first strike, and you're just saying that's your way of saying no. I think it's a 4, a solid 4.
Yeah.
I don't know because like there are a lot of decks where it will literally just be a 2-drop.
Well, here's the thing. It only dulls. You don't have to pay
Yeah,
anything.
no, that's true.
So, from what I'm understanding,
That's why I'd say it's like 3.5 to 4, somewhere in there for me.
when you do this Time Mage, and your opponent does something like Lightning Army of 1, they play the Lightning, and now they have haste and first strike, and you turn off that haste and first strike. They still have to now wait that full turn because even though they were given it, it's still the first turn that's hit the board.
Mm-hmm.
That's my understanding.
That's exactly how that would work.
You know, like
Well,
off of
in
Magic.
Magic, that's how that would work.
And I would assume, like, a lot of things fall in the same way, so I would assume the same. So yeah, moving on. Dr. Sid, 2-drop backup. When a backup you control is broken by your opponent's summoner ability, your opponent puts 1 character from his field into the break zone. I can see this being super, super good if backup removal was actually important, which it's not right now.
I think it will be.
It may be in the future, but not now.
This is definitely a 1 of, though, if you're playing Ice. Well, Ice Wind, talking from my side of the world. Ice Wind, it's a 1 of, guaranteed, because you can just Von it back up.
I just, I don't know. I don't see the utility of it. I see the utility of it in the long run. What it does is really good. Just what it does in the current game state. It's not. Because there's not a lot of backup removal right now. We rarely see Archer.
Here.
We see the Hecaton as backup removal. That's the most frequent kind of backup removal. We never see Sephiroth, really.
Yeah.
That's also our meta. I've seen a lot of decks that play a copy of him.
I don't see the overall utility for Dr. Sid.
I think if you're playing like...
I think when Promo Seth drops, a lot more people are going to be playing backup because he's a 4 cost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. For now, I give it like a 2.5 because of I'm comparing it to where it is right now in the game today.
I give it a 3 right now. In my neck of the woods, it's a 4.
Yeah, I'm going with the 3, and I could see it getting even better.
Okay.
I think we should be running more backup removal, quite honestly.
Moving onward, we have Nero, the 3-drop forward, 7k body, and it goes with Weiss effectively. If you control a Weiss, Nero gains 1000 power, so it'll become an 8k. When Nero blocks or is blocked, choose a forward and freeze it. So you can Weiss into Nero, and now you have a 10k attacker and an 8k body that can freeze shit.
Yeah.
It's good.
I like Nero. Even without Weiss, I like Nero.
I like the combo. I don't know about Nero as he is by himself. Because freezing something and not having a dull target or not being guaranteed that something will be frozen is super, super lukewarm.
Snow, Nero?
If blocked.
Right.
Blocked.
Snow, Nero. Let me
They're
swing
not gonna
Snow,
block
tap
him.
that down. Are you not going to block Nero so I can freeze your guy? Or are you going to take the damage?
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's great. I think with Ice, I think it can be really, really powerful. It just sets up a lot of really cool interactions where you're forcing your opponent to choose between taking damage or having a crappy board state.
Yeah.
I think you should think about it as an aggressive thing and less about defensive.
Yeah,
like
that's
they
true.
swing at me, I block and lose it, and maybe freeze something.
You freeze whatever's attacking.
Yeah, that's what you do.
That's why I like
Left
Shiva
hand.
1. Shiva 1's amazing in my opinion.
So, I don't know. I give this,
I think 3.5, maybe even a 4.
say 3.5 is a fair number.
Yeah, I'll agree with the fairness.
Next, we have Hurdy.
I do not like this.
2
outright.
drop back up, Moogle. 2 ice and dull. And dull all forwards with a cost equal to the number of job
Yes,
Moogles you
bad.
control. It's
Just based on the fact that it says equal to.
Yeah,
If it was equal to or less or something like that.
now, I feel like this would be one of those issues where it could be or less, but we haven't seen it yet, and this list hasn't updated yet.
That's
to be
true.
fair, Golbaz was or less at one point, and then it lost the or less.
Yeah.
So they're notorious for losing the or less.
So let's say this. If it is or less, I give this thing a 4 or so, because if it's paired up with the correct deck,
Mhm.
like that Earth, then
Right now, you probably just end up missing what you're looking for.
right now, because of what it is, I give it like a 1.5.
Also, it has to be
No.
equal to Moogles.
Right now, I will give it a 3 for one reason and one reason alone. Give me 2 Moogles, and I say, good day, Golbaz. Good day.
That's true. That is true.
True. Okay.
But that's one deck.
Yeah.
Right, but if it can be ran as a one of, especially it's ice, so you have Mog 13. That's a searcher.
Yeah, if that's your meta is Golbez, yeah, that's gonna stop it. But I think as a card, just trying to dull things, you're gonna end up maybe hitting one thing, maybe 2, and then just the rest of your opponent's board will
Right.
be untouched or something like that. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
So let's see. Moving on, we have Mateus the Corrupt. It's a 5-drop summon. EX burst. Opponent puts 1 attacking forward into the break zone.
So good.
I like it a lot.
I like it a lot too.
This is the 5.
It's the perfect defensive
I think it's kind of what Ice needed. Ice didn't have answers to things really.
Let's put it this way: if you're doing an Ice Lightning deck, you'll run the 7-drop Odin, and you'll run the Mateus the Corrupt.
Oh my god!
And just all your damage is lethal. All your damage is terrifyingly lethal. Your opponent will be very afraid to attack into you.
Here's the reason why Mateus is better than Odin, in my opinion, and I've discussed this with you beforehand. Is it doesn't say break the forward.
Yeah.
It says put it in.
So,
yeah. Yeah, if that's actually what it says, it's better and worse than Odin in different situations.
yeah.
Well, yeah, obviously Odin just straight killed everything. But if they go
Cost less, but
Titan or something like that.
yeah, no, there was
This
answers
just
to
says
Odin.
no.
This there's like, other than like making it hexproof.
Yeah.
Even then, no, this gets around Aerith.
It's an EX.
Well, it'll still be. You can't be.
Because you're not targeting anything.
Oh yeah, your opponent does
If they
it.
attack,
Your opponent.
and you go like
makes-
this, and they Aerith in response, you're like, that's fine, I didn't target it. You just have to sacrifice an attacking creature.
Yeah.
And since it's not like Magic where you can attack with multiple creatures, there's only one creature that can be attacking. It's not being targeted.
Oh, you
just
could.
lose
You
it.
could party attack. You could
Yes,
party
true.
attack.
Yeah, you
Even if they
could.
still have to
And
choose.
now your opponent plays Sophie's choice with their forwards, but it's still.
And then you block the other thing.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's
good.
such a good card.
It's a good
Ooh.
card. I think that's the.
That's the 5.
I think that's the
Yeah,
5
definitely.
for this.
You run
element.
it. You just run it.
You run it.
And it gets around so many things.
And it gives Ice more good EXs.
Next up, we have Moomba. It's a 2-drop summon. EX burst. Choose a forward, deal damage equal to its power minus 1,000.
Love it. I love this card.
I love it also.
Just because of what I know, it's so cool. There's so many great ways to just make this a 2-cost kill a thing.
These interactions, yes. And let's think about that fire summoner earlier. So
Yeah.
it deals 1,000
There's
more
that.
damage instead.
An element, you have Terra. 4-drop Terra also.
Yeah. There was a couple things that made it just like kill a thing.
There's just a lot of stuff that this could be paired up with that just
God, Ice is
kills
looking
things for a
great.
really cheap price.
Jeez.
I
moved away from the mic. I don't know if they'll have picked up anything I said. Whatever. But yeah, Moomba. I'm prepared to give this another 5 almost. I'm going to go with 4.5 just because you need to have something else to make it either a blocker, to make it a kill.
I'd say it's a 4. Yeah, probably 4.
It's a 4. If I had to choose between this and Mateus, I want to choose Mateus all day.
Yeah. And, like, just if you think about it in a deck building sense, you have a lot of ice summons, too, that are kind of, like, marginally better. Like, I think the 3-drop Shiva is still a better option than the Moomba is. I think that,
Sure, just on its own.
Yeah.
On its own.
Yeah, I still think I think it's a 4 just because, like he was saying, or like you were saying,
You need another thing.
You need another thing.
Otherwise, it does nothing. It actively says, all right, it's still a guy on the field.
Yeah. And then if you put it up with Minwoo, it literally does nothing.
Yeah, even the blocker, yeah. But, like, if you have just a thing that...
Mateus.
If you have anything that just pumps damage by 1,000...
Then it's solid.
Yeah.
It's solid. Yeah.
It gets around Minwoo.
Moving on.
You know what's even funnier with that card? Cast it. Oh, you took everything but 1K? Kane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reduces power. Moving on, we have Laguna. Laguna is a 3-drop forward, marksman. 5K, first strike. When Laguna attacks, choose one dull forward your opponent controls and freeze it. You party attack with Snow, and now you effectively dull and freeze something. That's what everyone's talking about anyways. And it's a cute
Snow,
thing.
Laguna, and what was it, Nero?
Yeah.
Those are all great together. I think you're going to play those in
If
that
you just
kind of
have
deck.
this, that kind
That
of
super
board.
aggressive ice deck. I think even like Ice Lightning, where you're able to kill anything that is a threat. I think you're running those 3 guys for sure. Maybe even throw some Gilgamesh in there.
This 3 Laguna is really good. I just... I'm thinking about like just the other Lagunas though currently in the game. And I like those a lot too. Arguably. The other one does The other one,
That's-
if you have Squall, just dull and freezes something and becomes a 9K.
Yeah.
And it's an EX burst.
Yeah, it's an EX burst.
Yes, that's really good.
The 5-drop can kill any dull thing if you have special costs for it, or it can kill anything that's average power or less just by swinging.
I think those are good for different kinds of decks. I think this might be a better choice in specific types of decks.
Yeah. You have a Laguna for any ice deck you want to run.
Some you might want to run all of them. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. If you want to make a Laguna deck.
It might be a little clogged, but yeah. I'm going to go with like a 3.5, maybe even a 4. I like it a lot.
3.5 is a solid number.
I give it a 4, even though I like the 4 Laguna better. It's just the EX burst.
Alright, next card. This is the second legendary for ice. This is Renoa, 3-drop, forward. 7k body. For each Final Fantasy VIII forward other than Renoa you control, she gains 1,000 power. When Renoa is put from the field into the break zone, dull all forwards your opponent controls.
That's amazing.
Its special ability is special 1 ice and dull. Choose 1 forward and 1 backup, and I believe you just dull and freeze them. So
yeah, it cuts off on this list.
Yeah,
That's
it cuts off on mine too. But
yeah,
from what I remember,
it starts with a D, so it's probably dull, maybe even dull and freeze.
From what I remember, it is dull and freeze. 1 backup
for an
forward.
ice, a copy, and a dull.
So
that's pretty good.
It's really good in my opinion. That's what I was saying. Like, I was thinking about like this. Also, I feel like it's a 5, but there's a but. If you don't run 8 characters or forwards, then she's super easily killable. And yeah, if you kill her, she dulls all your opponent's forwards. What if they don't have any? Or what if they do it like, what if they're already tapped down, you know?
Yeah, that's true. But I think this is good just based off what it says and its like special ability, and then you can also just set up turns where like you just win. Like you just sacrifice this thing somehow.
She's 3 for a 7.
You purposefully swing her into something that will kill her.
Yeah, and they either don't block it, or you've basically just set up a turn where you have a bunch of little dudes out, right? And you just keep swinging, and they know that if they block and kill it, they lose, or they just keep taking 1 damage.
Icewind is where this is like you were saying, Sophie's choice. Icewind's where she shines on that.
I would say Ice Fire in the same respect. Like, if Renoa dies, it clears the way for everything. Or even if like they let that attack through and they still have their active dudes, then you can fall back onto fire support and make sure they can't block or some shit. Like, you have a lot of versatility with this card.
I mean, this card is just good with even with water. There's ways to get.
There's
around
ways
this.
to do
Lightning,
everything.
There's way to get around.
This card is super flexible, super beneficial for any other element pairing.
I'd give it a 4.5.
Yeah.
4.5.
It's a 7k, which is a little like, I mean, it's a 3 cost, so it makes sense.
And she helps Squall.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you run an 8 theme deck, I'm planning on doing that myself. She's gonna be huge. She and then like the 5 cost Squall are just gonna be huge, 2 huge forwards.
All right, next one.
The last one is another backup Renoa, 3-drop. Whenever there's a field search for a Final Fantasy VIII forward, add to your hand.
Any search ability is amazing.
It's the 8 searcher. Yep.
Because in this game, any search ability equates to 2 CP or a good card.
It's the average game.
Shuffles.
It's the average game searcher. It's the 13 searcher. It's the 7 searcher.
They're all good. You want to, if you're running cards where you can actually search and get them, you want to do it.
Because of the fact that this is a backup though, and you have the legendary rule, I would only want to run like 1.
Yeah.
Or
that is actually
maybe 2 at most. Just because I would much rather have the forward Renoa on the board than the backup. So you better have a way to get that backup off the board if you're doing searching. Because if you want to play that forward Renoa, too bad. Like until you get it off the board. So I give it a 3 out of 5 because it does what it's supposed to do. But in this awkward case, it kind of compromises.
Yeah,
playing the good one,
playing the better one. Yeah. So
it's tough call there.
So 3.5 across the board. All right, that's the end of Ice. We will be back with
Wind
soon.